welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to talk a little bit about triglycerides. So I'm going to make this video a little shorter. I did pre-record it and it was like too long and crazy, so I kind of condensed it a little bit, and you can pause this at any point in time and look at the pictures that I'm going to post up over here to better look at exactly what's happening. I'm not going to explain it step by step per se, so you can pause it to see step by step exactly what's happening. I'm just going to kind of give a brief explanation of what our body does with triglycerides and how they're made and whatnot. First, we're going to talk a little bit about lipid metabolism. I'm just going to put that up on the screen right here so you guys can look at it. The blue section is part of carbohydrate metabolism as well. So basically your body's going to break down triglycerides, which are a glycerol molecule, and 3 fatty acid molecules, and it's going to break them down into DHAP, pyruvate, acetylcholine, ketones, cholesterol, ATP, and it can actually reconvert all that back into triglycerides. So it's really cool. So I'll leave that on here while I do a little bit explaining. So basically, fats are more than just what we eat. They're a vital energy source, but how does your body process them? So that's what we're going to kind of break down today. So lipid metabolism includes the breakdown, transport, storage, and use of fats for energy and structures. Triglycerides are the primary dietary and stored forms of energy made of glycerol and fatty acids. So your glycerol is going to be the circle part of that squiggly line, little molecule you see. And then the squigglies, the little tails of that, are your fatty acids. And of course, those are all made up of carbons, hydrogens, oxygens, all those things. So dietary fats are broken down in the small intestine by enzymes like lipase into your glycerol and fatty acids. Absorbed lipids are packaged into chylomicrons for transport to the bloodstream. So those are the little packages. So VLDL, HDL, those little lipoprotein packages as well. Fats are stored in adipose tissue, which is your body fat, and they are used during fasting or exercise, or when your body needs energy, it's going to utilize those stored triglycerides in your fat tissue for energy. Hormones like epinephrine activate hormone-sensitive lipase, releasing fatty acids and glycerol into the bloodstream, which we're going to kind of go over next, and I have a different picture for that. So basically the picture is going to show how those hormones activate your adipose tissue to release the triglycerides that are stored in those tissues into the bloodstream or to the muscles or to the liver, and it continues the process, which we'll talk about. Fatty acids are transported to cells where they undergo beta oxidation in the mitochondria to produce ATP. So excess carbs and fats are converted to triglycerides through lipogenesis in the liver and stored in the adipose tissue. So lipoproteins, which I've already kind of mentioned, transport lipids through the bloodstream. So because lipids are hydrophobic, they're afraid of water, they don't mix well with water, they have to have some way to be transported through our body, and that's where those lipoproteins, VLDL, LDL, HDL, right, all those things are bad and good, which they're not. That's how those are transported through your body. The chylomicrons carry dietary fats, and those are a form of lipoproteins. So VLDL delivers triglycerides from the liver to tissues. And then HDL helps remove excess cholesterol from your body. Lipid metabolism is important because it provides energy, especially during fasting and prolonged exercise. And then it supports cell structure and hormone production. So cholesterol is very important for all of our cells. Lipids, fats are very important for our hormones. Our hormones need them to be balanced and made and all sorts of things. So that's why it's so important to maintain that high protein, high fat, low carb diet. We should be doing this type of lifestyle over what we've been told for so long. An imbalance can lead to health issues like obesity, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease. Lipid metabolism ensures your body uses fat for energy, stores them for later, and maintains cell function. So fats are very important for your body. So next, I'm going to pull up another picture up on the screen. This is that cell structure, your adipose cell structure that I was telling you about. You can go ahead and pause it so you can kind of look at the process. So it starts with the hormone activating at the cell wall. And then, of course, it activates a bunch of steps, which then that's how the triglyceride is broken down and released from your adipose tissue into your bloodstream. And then that, of course, goes to different parts of your body where it's needed. So triglycerides are 1 glycerol backbone and 3 fatty acids. They are stored in your fat cells and used for energy when your body needs fuel. So like if we're fasting or if we're in a ketogenic state, we need energy, like glucose for our body and stuff, and all those other ATPs for our muscles to fire correctly and all that when we're exercising. And this is what's going to be happening during those phases. Fasting, exercise, or low insulin levels will trigger fat metabolism. And that's why a lot of people will suggest doing fasting if you're having trouble losing body fat on the carnivore diet, is because of this. This is what's going to trigger that for your body to release fat cells and whatnot and all that. So hormones like epinephrine and glucagon activate an enzyme called the hormone sensitive lipase, HLC, in the fat cell. And that's that little green blue squiggle on the cell membrane that you see, and that little green circle with an H in the middle, that's a hormone, and that's where it goes to activate. The HSL breaks down triglycerides into free fatty acids and glycerol, releasing them into the bloodstream. So if you look at the blue circle inside that cell, you will see that the triglyceride is going to be broken down individually to separate the fatty acids from the glycerol. And so that's what you see inside that blue cell, is that step it takes to break down the triglyceride into the individual pieces. And then once those are broken down into individual pieces, the 3 fatty acids will be released, and then the glycerol molecule will be released. And then the free fatty acids actually have to bind to a protein called albumin to be transported in the blood to different body parts. So, because like I said, they're hydrophobic, they're afraid of water, so they actually have to bind to something in order to be transported where they need to go. So they're gonna, if you look at the blood vessel, you'll see the FFA, that's your free fatty acids. They're gonna bind to that albumin and protein, and then they're gonna be transported to your muscles, all your muscles, cardiac, everything, bladder, all your muscles in your body. It'll be transported there for use of energy through your mitochondria, right, to make ATP, or it can be transferred to other tissues such as your brain, eyes, all the kidneys, all those things. And then it can also be transported to the liver as well. So then the glycerol is sent to the liver, where it is used in gluconeogenesis to produce your glucose. Especially important during fasting or intense exercise. So this is an important step for people that are on keto or carnivore or ketovore. This is where our body is going to be able to maintain our natural glucose levels that we naturally have in our blood and our body. And this is a vital portion of where that comes from, is from that glycerol molecule that gets converted in the liver. Mobilization of triglycerides is essential for maintaining energy balance, especially during fasting, low-carb diets, or physical activity. It's a natural process your body relies on to survive when dietary energy isn't available. So when your body needs energy, it activates hormones, breaks down stored triglycerides, and delivers the fuel where it's needed most. So, very important process right here. So next we're going to go ahead and look at the picture of the liver. And this is triglyceride synthesis. The glycerol 3-phosphate is the backbone of triglycerides. So that is going to be your glycerol molecule, the little red circle, the little circle of the little phosphate of the triglyceride molecule that I showed. It derives from glucose through glycolysis, when glucose is broken down into intermediates, or by lipolysis. So basically what that's saying is it uses glycolysis to make that glycerol 3-phosphate molecule that we need for the backbone for making triglycerides, or it can utilize lipolysis, which we kind of talked about and I showed you in that diagram just now, the previous one where the fat cell is. It can actually take the glycerol molecule from your fat cells, and add the phosphate onto it, making the glycerol 3-phosphate, which is what we need to make triglycerides, because your liver can make triglycerides. as long as it has glycerol and fatty acids. Really cool that our body can use like 2 different things to make this molecule, which is really awesome and interesting to me. It's fascinating. So excess carbs are converted into acetylcholase in the mitochondria. Acetylcholates exit the cytoplasm and enter the fatty acid synthesis pathway, forming long-chain fatty acids. And so if you look on the side, you'll see a number 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be fatty acid number 1, fatty acid number 2, fatty acid number 3. Those are all going to connect to that glycerol 3-phosphate molecule to create a triglyceride. So glycerol 3-phosphate reacts with 2 fatty acetylcholine molecules, forming phosphatidic acid. The phosphate group is removed, resulting in a diacylglycerol. A third fatty acid is added to create a triglyceride molecule. So basically that's what's on kind of in the middle of this picture. You'll see that the glyceride 3-phosphate reacts with the fatty acid, a fatty acyl-CoA, making and adding the first fatty acid, reacts with another fatty acyl-CoA, adding the second fatty acid, and reacting with another fatty acyl-CoA, adding the third fatty acid, creating a triglyceride molecule. The liver packages the triglycerides into lipoproteins, primarily the VLDL, and then the VLDLs are released into the bloodstream, delivering triglycerides to tissues like muscles for energy and or adipose tissue for storage. This process supports energy balance by storing energy during excess nutrition intake and provides it when needed. Imbalances like overproduction can lead to fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, or other metabolic diseases. So the liver is a powerhouse, turning extra triglycerides into fuel and sustaining our bodies. So that, like I said, the liver is an amazing organ. So to sum it all up, triglyceride synthesis is how your body cleverly stores energy from the food you eat, preparing for times when you need it the most. It's a process that keeps us fueled and functioning every day. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. And like always, don't forget that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.